Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Lily. I am so happy that you're here with me. In today's video, I am going to show you how to make even more toppers. I have been on a junk journal topper kick for a while, and that's because I'm using a lot of corrugated cardboard, and I have found that corrugated cardboard is a great substrate for making junk journal toppers. I have one right here that I have already done in advance. We are going to recreate this right here. You can see that the back is corrugated cardboard, and I have embellished with things that I have in my stash. I periodically go through my things just to see what I have, and it's sad to say a lot of my supplies are neglected, and so I think it's important for us to kind of thumb through our things every now and then so that we can use all of those supplies that we have stored away. So let's look at it again because it is absolutely gorgeous. It kind of gives off springtime vibes, and I just love that. I'm just waiting for the springtime. It's really gloomy today. I'm wearing a turtleneck because it's cold outside. I think it's gonna snow, and this is kind of turtley, but I'm cold. Okay, back to the topper. And this topper right here, I used a Tim Holtz frame, but you know what? I'm going to use something different. We are going to DIY our own little frame. These are gorgeous. These Tim Holtz frames are gorgeous. But I love repurposing junk, and I am going to recreate a frame from junk. It is going to blow your mind. You are going to love it because I bet you anything you have it in your house right now. So, and not only are we going to make a junk journal topper, I'm also going to show you how I'm going to attach it to some journals that I have had for a while. These were actually listed in my Etsy shop, but I deactivated them a while back. They just didn't do very well. And do you want to know why? Because it needed stuff on the front cover. These are just too plain. And even though the fabric is absolutely beautiful, it's just not me to leave these plain, and so I took them down, and we are going to add a topper to it, and then I'm going to relist them in my Etsy shop, and I'm going to go through all of those details in just a moment. I want you to know how much I appreciate you being here on my YouTube channel, supporting my Etsy shop. I think you guys are absolutely amazing. If you are here for the first time, welcome, hello, and welcome, and I invite you to subscribe to my channel. I've got tons of videos with content very similar to today's. I love repurposing junk, and if that is your vibe, then you are at the right place. Okay, are you ready to get started? Gather your supplies. I'm going to walk over to the craft loft so that we can start working on more junk journal toppers. Let's go. I'm now at the craft table, and I am going to give you a close-up look at this really cute topper. And most of it was made by using junky junk. So here's the corrugated cardboard. And then I used some old music paper, and then a lot of embellishments from my stash, things that I have been neglecting. And so I know I've said this so many times lately, I just can't stress enough how important it is for us to go through our stash so that we can use all of the supplies that we kind of set aside, forget about, or even neglect. And this was really fun because I was able to grab things like this little bird. I can't even remember when I bought that little bird. And this is what it looked like. I love this shade of pink fuchsia, but it is the wrong color. I'm trying to coordinate the topper for these journals, and that pink hue just doesn't match very well. So I'm going to alter the little bird, and then I added a little bit of glitter. So what I did to the little bird is I painted it, and then I added a little bit of glitter, and then I used a Tim Holtz frame, and this is going to be the fun part right here. And then added some paper florals and some little flowers, a metal embellishment, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. So we are going to recreate this. I always like to make one off camera, play around with the ideas, and then as I'm working, new ideas are developing, and that's how I came up with creating a new frame, a new idea. So if you don't have the Tim Holtz frames or any other kind of frame, and I'll show you some of the ones that I have right now, you're going to love this new idea. So I'm going to set that aside for just a moment and show you the frames that I have. I love working with frames in my projects, and I typically use items like this. I collect them whenever I see them. These, I can't remember. These might be Paper Studio brand. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. And then I have these. These are more vinyl, and they have a sticky back. And these are also great to use, just to give you perspective. So if you were to use something like this, you know, here's a smaller Tim Holtz frame. I don't remember where the other ones came, but I don't forget we're Tim Holtz, right? And then here's another one. So there are so many different styles of frames that you can use, but I'm going to DIY one with junk. And you know how much I love to repurpose junk. I'm going to set these aside. I can use these in the future, but now that I know that I can make my own, yeah, I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to make a whole bunch. I recently talked about all of the junk that I like to use. These are tissue box toppers. The opening to where you pull out your tissue. And I will have that video linked up above for you where I show you how I cut it down and I create toppers from all the sides of the box, and then I save these and for other projects like this. So this is going to be fantastic. And I'm going to set all of these aside, but this is what they look like. Can you tell? I have more too. This is just a few, all the different designs, and there are so many different ways that these can be used, but today we are going to make these look like little picture frames. I've already jumped ahead, and the very first thing that I did is I gave the frame a coat of white chalk paint. And I've got two different types of chalk paint, and I'm going to go through that just to show you the process. But one coat of paint, and then once I've painted it, I've ran it through the Big Shot with an embossing folder, and this is what really wowed me. And then I used some wax, and I kind of just rubbed a little bit of wax over the raised embossed image, and it really just kind of blew my mind, because how do you go? How do you go from junk like this to this? I didn't know it was going to turn out so stinking cute, but I'm so happy. And I always like to say, if you are stuck and you don't know where to start, just start. It doesn't matter where you start, just start, because once you get working with whatever it is you're working on, as you're creating things, it's going to give you new ideas. And that's how this came about. So there's that one. And then there's this one. I didn't use wax for this one. This is a wax by ART or Art. I've had this one for a while. For this, I used some gold metallic acrylic paint. And you know how much I love the gold. So I took a paintbrush and very lightly went over the raised image. And I really, really love the way this looks. And I like the way the debossed image looks too. So maybe I'll do one of those. And now you've got your own frame that you can place and use on your topper. I plan on using these for toppers. I'll make a whole bunch and use them for other projects as well. But look at how cute. Let me show you again. Let's go through the steps. Let's make one of these. There are so many different ideas, but today I'm only going to recreate something like this, okay? So I'm going to set this aside. We're going to get a little bit painty, a little bit messy. I already have some of the supplies that I am going to use. For example, get your corrugated cardboard ready. I've already cut it down. It is 5 by 6. Let me make sure. Yep, it is 5 inches wide, approximately. And let's see, 7 inches in length. All depends on the size of the journal that you are going to be working with. Mine happens to be 9 by 6. This is 9 by 6. And a 5 by 7 works great on this. But check your measurements. You'll know what you need, what sizes you need to use. Okay. I'm going to set that aside for a minute. I'm going to work on this because I'm going to need the paint to dry for a minute. So while this paint is drying, then I can move on and start working on the corrugated cardboard. Step number 1 is give your little tissue box topper a coat of paint. I've used the Folk Art chalk paint, but I'm just about done with this. And I have this one, which is also a favorite paint. It's by DIY, and I love Debbie's Design Diary. I'll have her channel linked in the description area below. She does a lot of DIY projects, and she has her own brand of paint. And this is a really cool paint mixture. It's a combination of chalk and clay, and it's really thick and it works great. So let's use this one. And I'm only going to do 1 coat of paint. You can also leave the topper as it is, but I'm working on the journal that has pink tones on the cover. And I'm going to show you a different topper that I made using this design and leaving it as it is, and it turned out so good. I have it right here next to me. I'm going to show it to you in just a moment. Depending on how bold the design is on your little tissue topper, you can give it 1 or 2 coats. I don't want to hide the fact that this is junk, so I'm only going to give it 1 coat. If the design shows through a little bit, then it'll make for a good story to tell. Because people will ask, how did you do that? And then you can tell them. And you can wow them. I love DIY projects. Okay, so now that I've done this, I'm going to set it aside to dry somewhere. I don't have any room. Okay. I'm going to seal that up. It's kind of weird not doing a voiceover, but it's so quiet in the house right now. And so it's really nice. This is my little basket of toppers, some of the toppers I've recently made. And I'll have that video linked for you up above, but I'm going to look for the one that I made using the topper as it is. Look at how stinking cute that is. So I love using frames. And this one, I left it as it is. There are gold splatters. I used metal embellishments. Watch that video. I show you exactly how to make these toppers. And then you just use whatever embellishments that you have. So if you want to make your own, or if you want to use a store-bought one, it's entirely up to you. But man, if you can repurpose your junk the way I like to repurpose junk, you are going to love making these, leaving them as they are, or giving them a brand new look. So while that topper is drying, I am now going to grab my corrugated cardboard, and I am going to peel a little bit of the top layer, and I'm mainly focused on the edges right here, not so much in the center. So let's do that. And I'm using my pokey tool just so I can release it. And you know, one side is always easier than the other. Look at that. Oh. So kind of just give it a test on the edges. Oh, if I can get a good peel, that would be fantastic. That way I don't have to fuss with it too much. And so just use my pokey tool. I don't want to use my fingernails. So I'm just poking it in there in the little corrugations, bending it back a little bit to kind of give it a nice, good peel. Oh, let's see. Let's see what kind of peel I can get. That's good. And this will only take a few minutes to do. Look at that. Yes. And then go down to the bottom. Take your time. And you can peel away as much or as little that you want. Only takes a few minutes. It's kind of satisfying to watch that, isn't it? You can even leave, if you don't want the corrugations to show, you could leave it. But I really like the corrugated cardboard. I love the look of it because you are juxtaposing a little bit of grunge and shabby with something really sweet and delicate like the lace that I'm using and the flowers. And I really like that look. So, do you see? And I'm going to stop right here. I think that's good enough. Okay, maybe I'm going to go a little bit more. For the sake of the video, I'm just going to stop right here. So that looks great. Let me get my garbage out of the way. The next step is I'm going to use some white paint again, and I am going to give it a dry brush all around the edges. So I'm going to use some of this same DIY paint. Kind of smells like dirt, which I like. It doesn't have a very strong odor. So I'm just going to take it from the lid, and I'm just going to do a light brush. I always place them in the center so that I can get some of that excess off. Mainly focusing on the edge of the corrugated cardboard. Just a nice little dry brush. Doesn't that look nice? Look at that. I love the way that looks. Oh, this makes me so happy. Just go all around the edges. I don't mind getting paint on my hands. I think it's just shows that you've been creative, and it washes off easy. Okay, maybe a little bit more over here. As much or as little as you want, but I want some of that cardboard to show through, so just a nice dry brush, rub off the excess. And now I'll set this aside. Okay, doesn't that look great? The next step is I'm going to take some old music paper, and I've got some scraps right here. I've been working on this for a while. If you don't have music paper, you can also use book page. We're going to do a little bit of collaging on top. So do you see how I'm not really focused on the center because I'm going to cover it up with music paper, and I'm basically just want it to show on the edges of this. So I'm going to grab some glue. So I have this one. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. You can use Mod Podge as well. And I'm staying away from the edges. Let's see. And I want it to be kind of grungy, you know, and torn at the bottom. Whoops. Maybe right there. I'm just piecing it together. I don't have a full sheet. And as long as you use a little bit of glue to keep it pressed down, it's all you need, because I'm going to continue to layer on top. So I'm not too worried about how much or how little glue I'm using. Okay. And that's that right there. I already did another one off camera, and this is what it looks like. They're so nice. I love these boards. You can mass produce these. I've got so much cardboard. A few months ago, my granddaughter and I put together an IKEA dresser. I know I keep talking about that, but I got so much cardboard out of that dresser, the way it was packaged. And right now I'm cutting it down to smaller, more manageable pieces. So I could totally mass produce these and have them ready for whatever project I want to use. Set that aside. The next step is I'm going to use a doily for more layering. So I have these right here. I purchased these on papermart.com. They've got a great collection of doilies. I've had these for a long time. I purchased them about 10 years ago, maybe. I was asked to make some wedding invitations. So I think I use these for that. So I'm just going to place that over. It's nice to have this one here as a guide because I can see what my next steps are going to be. The very next step is the frame. So now I'm going to go back to the frame that I painted. It is dry. Actually, it's not that dry. I want to make sure it's completely dry because I'm going to run it through the embossing machine. And I jumped ahead the other day and I didn't let it dry. And so I got paint all over my embossing folder. Not a big deal. I can wash it off. Use whatever embossing folder that you have. This one is by Sizzix. It says Ellison here. I don't know what design it is, but there are little roses, little rose pattern on it. It's more visible here. So that's really cute. But I just kind of reached into the embossing folder box and grabbed whatever I thought was pretty. And then the one I'm going to use, oh, actually the one I used for this pattern, that's so pretty, is this one by Anna Griffin. And it was meant for the Cuttlebug, but it ran perfect through my Big Shot. And this is called Thistle Bouquet. Isn't that pretty? So use whatever. It doesn't have to be floral. It can be geometric. Use what you have. Okay, so I'm gonna set this one aside and let it completely dry. This one that I already did in advance, I'm gonna run this one through the Big Shot. I'm actually going to bring the Big Shot onto my craft table just to give you a visual. My Big Shot is old. Look, it is so old. It has moved with me about 4 or 5 times. I've had it for over 10 years. I think I bought it in 2010 or 2011. So I'm just going to take my little topper and then put it into the embossing folder. Sandwich it. Make your sandwich. I know this is crazy. And I'm just going to run it through one time. I have this tape right here because it's split open. That piece is barely hanging on. And so I have tape, which is splitting because it's cracked. And I need to retape it or the handle is just going to fly off. I know it's time for me to probably get a new machine, but I have a Vagabond. It's in the garage. And maybe I should bring that one in. OMG, can you see that? That is so stinking beautiful. Oh, I love this. It makes me so happy. The next step is I'm going to take some wax. If you don't have wax, you can leave it as it is. You can even take your little thing, your blending brush. Do you want me to try that? I haven't tried this. Should we try it? No, I don't want to. Maybe I do. Let's see. Let's see how that looks. If you want to crunchy it up, I was going to use wax, but I already made one with wax. And you already know what that looks like. It's this one right here. And all I did is I put a little bit on my finger and just kind of rubbed it. And that was it. But let's see how this looks. I talked recently about how I don't use the distressing very often, and then all of a sudden I'm distressing. But for this project, I think it makes sense. So with a very light hand, I'm just going to rub it on in a circular motion. Oh, and then the magic happens. What? Do you see how I had no intention of doing this? But the idea just came as I'm working. It's important for you to just start when you are creating, because then the ideas, the creativity will begin to flow. The more you create or the more you make, the more ideas to create. Oh my gosh, I like this. What? So if you want something even grungier or more distressed or antiqued, this will be a good idea. Look at that. And you can go as light or as dark as you want. Let me go a little bit darker. So cute. And then I'm going to highlight the edges. The reason I'm going to do this is so that it makes the frame pop against whatever it is that you're going to do. And then I'll do the inside as well. Look at my hands. Whoa! Okay, just a little bit. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That is so stinking cute. So there is that. And then I can do that. I want to see how that looks against the cover. Okay. I'm not going to use this one because I want it to be matchy-matchy with the cover. But if it was a different journal, something that was complimentary, I would definitely use this. I will make this for another project. I love the way that looks. We have this one, it's already done. So what if we just use this one? Because this one I feel will complement the cover a little bit better, especially because of the gold zigzag threading that I have around the cover. And it matches better. Sometimes I just make toppers without a journal in mind. And then I just glue it to the junk journal and it works out. But I have a specific one in mind. The next step, let me grab my little sample. Oh my gosh, I love how this turned out. Look at how nice. No one's ever going to know the difference. No one's ever going to know you made this from a tissue box. That is so cool. So I hope you like that. All right, the next step is I am going to glue this down. And do you see how it comes over to the edge? You could cut it down a little bit if you want, but I'm like trim it down so it's not so wide. But I'm going to leave it as it is. For this, I have my hot glue gun ready. And I was going to switch hot glue guns because this one has one setting. It is extremely hot. I burnt myself so bad yesterday. Oh my gosh, almost cried. But luckily, I have a bathroom right in the loft area, so I was able to run over there and put my hand in cold water. So if you ever get glue gun on your skin, do not rub it off. Go soak your hand in cold water. And then once it cools down, it peels off your skin. I'll tell you a really quick story about the very first time that I ever used hot glue. I was a teenager and one of my aunties was preparing to celebrate my cousin's 15th birthday. And in my culture, we have big celebrations. They are called quinceañeras. It's like a coming of age party. And so she was working on the party favors. We call those recuerdos, party favors in Spanish. And what's my next step? Okay, my next step is I am going to place my birdie. Look, I've already painted it by the power of television or camera. I went ahead and already painted it because that color just didn't match. I gave it one coat of the paint, okay? And then I distressed it a little bit. So I'll show you how I did that. I kind of sanded it a little bit. So my auntie asked us if we could help her with the party favors. And so she brought over all of the tools. I remember we were all sitting at my parents' house at the dining table, and she gathered a bunch of us so that we could help her with the party favors. I'd never used a glue gun before. I get glue gun on my forearm. I get glue gun right here, like a huge glob of it on my forearm. I didn't know what to do. It burned so bad. So I immediately, like instinct, I just started scratching it off, and it burned so much. It was so bad. I know it's kind of graphic, but I not only peeled away at the glue, I peeled away at my skin. Sorry if that was too graphic. But it's important for you to be careful. And no one told me what to do if I had burnt myself. And so then I ran over to the sink. I put water over it. But by that time, I had already really gotten into my skin. It took time for that to heal. And then my mom, of course, nursed the wound. And I probably had a scar on my forearm for several years. It's no longer there. This was, 40 years ago. Anyway, be careful when using hot glue. Sorry if that was too graphic. But don't try to scrape it off. Immediately go over and put it in cold water. I'm using this sanding block by Stampin' Up. This is so old, but it's still in my stash. I probably haven't used it in 10 years. Okay, so all I did is I sanded a little bit of the edge because now it matches just a little bit better. I don't have that different shade of pink that didn't match. Where is it? Oh, see? It didn't match right there, but now it matches. I'm just making it work. I'm telling you, I went through my supplies and through my stash and just started picking at things for me to use. The next step is I am going to glue it. Is that what I do? Yes. I'm going to glue it down, and I'm going to use some hot glue gun. I'm nervous about the hot glue. I'm just going to do a little bit. Oh my gosh. This one is so hot. It's meant for floral arrangements. I don't even do floral arrangements. I work with paper florals, but not like arrangements. I don't do that. Oh my gosh. There. Okay, so now I'm going to place it right there. Okay, just a little bit of glue. It's really strong glue too. I think those are, I don't remember, but they're really heavy duty glue sticks. On this one here, I added a little bit of glitter to the bird. Because I have the glitter, I'm going to use the glitter. And so the way I did that is I added a little bit of glue to the bird. You can use Mod Podge for this. I'm just using the art glitter glue because, oh my gosh, that was not intentional, but look at that. Makes sense. I've never used the art glitter glue for glitter. And then I just lightly brushed the glue over the little birdie. And this will dry, just a very thin layer of glue. Now I'm going to grab my little tray for glitter. I have this great big bottle of glitter that I bought on clearance at the craft store. And I'm just going to pour over the little bird. And then I'm going to shake off the excess. Oh, that looks so pretty. Look at that. Okay. And dust off the excess. This is a really cool tray. It's from Stampin' Up. I have a lot of Stampin' Up supplies because years and years ago, I was a Stampin' Up demonstrator. But even after, when I was no longer a Stampin' Up demonstrator, my friends were, and I'm still buying Stampin' Up because I love all the craft things. Look at how beautiful. Can you see how that shimmers? Oh my gosh, I love this so much. The next step is I'm now going to add the florals. These are paper flowers from all the different companies. I have Prima Flowers. I have 49 and Market, Blue Fern Studios, Paper Studio, flowers from Joann's, flowers from Michael's, all the flowers. What I don't have are handmade flowers, which after I use up all of my flowers, I'm going back to making my own flowers. I have a Tim Holtz tattered flower die, and I used to love using that to make my own flowers, but then this got easy, then I got lazy, but I'm going back to doing my own flowers. So I've already kind of selected all of the flowers that I'm going to use, and then this cute little twig. And I'm going to kind of recreate what I've already done here. So I'm just going to glue that right there. I'm going to give it a little bend so it sits right. And then I'm going to add some hot glue gun behind the little stem. Makes me nervous. But I'm not touching that part. Did you see the steam come away? And now I'm going to position it. I need something to help me place this down. Okay. These are really good to use with glue gun to help press things down. I think I bought this at Dollar Tree. It's just a little silicone spatula. Look at how much it's been loved. It had a little Easter bunny. I've had it for a while, but this is fantastic. So get yourself a little spatula. Sometimes they're at other craft stores. Okay, set that down. And now I am going to fill in the blanks. Oh, that looks so pretty. So let's do this one first. Okay. I'm not going to take any chances. I have burnt myself too many times this week. Just hold it down for a second. Glue gun. The reason I'm using glue gun is because it dries fairly quick. And now let's put that one right there. Just a blob of it. Did you see the steam again? That is crazy. Okay, let that sit there for a minute. And now I'm going to fill in with these little ones. And because these are little, I'm going to use these tweezers to hold it. Add a little bit of glue. Whoa. And just kind of fill in the blanks. Use as many or as little flowers as you want. I already have the ones I'm going to use. Okay, grab the next one. Maybe put that one right there. My glue gun cord is not very long, so I have to move it over. Whoa. And then hold that down for a second. I'm going to put something heavy over it. Okay, and then this one right here, right there. I'm going to put it right here or right here. I'm going to put that right there. This reminds me of that game Operation when you use the little tweezers. Do you remember that? There's another game that my sister brought over just recently. It's like Operation. This one is you put the shapes into the little box. Is it called Perfection? Oh, I can't remember. But you set the timer and you place all of the little shapes in before the timer goes off. Otherwise, they all pop out. And my 2-year-old grandson, he didn't like it. It just startled him. So that's not his favorite game right now. Okay, so there's that. Move this aside. I don't care that the little flower got smushed because look what I'm going to do. I'm going to smush the flowers. I smushed these flowers a little bit because they're kind of high and they're pokey and I want them to be a little more distressed. So I'm just going to give it a little pounce. This one, I can't do much with this one because it is actually a beaded little center, but these other ones are just paper. So I'm just going to flat them out a little bit. I am loving how this turned out. Am I almost done? I think I'm almost done. Oh, I have these little leaves that I'm going to add. I'm just going to stick them in somewhere. Let's see. I'm going to put it over here just to add some green, and this one over here, right there. Right in there. OMG, that is so, so pretty. Okay, look at how beautiful that looks. Look at that. And what is my next step? I'm going to add one of these metal embellishments. I'm stepping away for a second. Okay, let me tell you about my little metal embellishments. It's also where I keep my Tim Holtz book corners. But in here, I have all of these embellishments that I like to use on the corners of my books. Usually, I'll add it to the edge of the book as a faux book corner. But lately, I have been, let me see if I have something here. So for example, not a good example, that's a brad, but what I've been doing is gluing them down like that. Isn't that so cute? These are meant, this is more of a filigree one, so cute. These are meant to adorn wooden plaques or wooden boxes right at the corners. When you buy these at the craft store, they're in the wood section aisle. They come with little nails because they are meant for wood. And then you just wood them down. You hammer them down. But I'm going to use the ultimate glue to glue these down. And I'm going to use that one right there. But this heart one is also so beautiful. But I just love the filigree one. They are called wood corner metal appliques. I think that's what they're called. You can find them in your craft store. You can find them online. And for that, I'm going to use the ultimate glue. This is a fantastic adhesive. It's like a super glue, and it works on, it's water-based, it's non-toxic, it's almost 100% odor-free, water-based super glue, and it adheres to metals, plastic, glass, and so much more. And best of all, it dries clear. And when I say it dries clear, it dries clear. Look, I used so much glue on this, and it is completely dry. It is clear, and it doesn't show. So I am going to do this. And I'm just going to add some of this glue. And now that I've got that glue, I'm going to put it over here. Just like that. And while it grabs, I'm going to take some clothespins just for a moment, because I also don't want the clothespin to glue to the metal embellishment. This is just to hold it for a moment. That is so cute. I just love that so much. And one thing that I saved for the very end is I am going to add some gold splatters, because why not? I want to add some gold splatters. And I'm going to make some splatters with this little paint right here. This is perfect for the gold splatters. I've talked about how I love the Heidi Swapp Gold Shine. Heidi Swapp no longer makes the gold shine. I have other colors, but the gold is gone. This one is perfect by Deco Art. It's called Extreme Sheen, and it is 24 karat gold paint, and it shimmers like gold. So let's make a bigger mess. This one's gonna be so beautiful. I can't wait to create this one. I love that. So pretty. Okay, so let's make a mess. I only need a little bit of it. So I'm working directly on the glass mat. I'm going to add a little bit of water. I'm going to use my favorite fan brush. This is perfect for splatters. I also have this one, but I don't know. I don't think I've ever used it, or have I? I think I did for white paint splatters. I'm not going to do that one today. I'm going to use this one. And then add water depending on the consistency that you want. I want to make sure it splatters nicely. If you don't want this on your clothing, wear an apron. I don't have anything on my desk that I need to protect. My coffee is on the other side of the table. And so now I'm just going to add some splatters. I'm going to focus on the corners. Oh, that is so pretty. Maybe on the flowers. I can't get enough of the shimmer. It is so pretty. And what's nice is you can do as little or as much as you want. Okay, that is good. And then I'm just gonna detach that for a moment like this so it doesn't glue to, because it's a strong glue. And so I just release the clips as it's drying so that it doesn't glue itself down. I'm gonna set this one aside for just a moment because I am going to glue this to the front of the journal because I said that's what I was going to do. Let me clear off any moisture. So this one's ready to be adhered to my journal. I have two of them that I'm going to do it to. Here is my journal. Isn't it gorgeous? I am so lucky that I had this little bird wood chippy, and look, it matches the little birds. So stinking cute. This journal is beautiful as it is, but I'm going to be true to myself and decorate the front the way I do to all my journals. And look at that, instant beauty, even more beautiful. I don't want to cover the eyelet because it's already there. In hindsight, if you do these, you don't have to do this, then you can just tie it a different way. So I'm just going to move it over to the side so I don't block the eyelet where I'm going to thread the ribbon through. And now I'm going to use another strong adhesive to hold this down. I'm going to use Fabrifix. You can use Fabri-Tac. This is perfect for gluing onto fabric. It is super strong. And I'm just going to add a generous amount of glue to the back of my topper. It's nice and fluid right now. I think it's because of the temperature in the house. Look at that. So, generous amount. Okay. Now I'm going to place it down. Oh, I hope it's even. I can't see. It's kind of stinky, so make sure you are in a well-ventilated area. I'm in the loft, and so I'm in an open space. It's going to move. It's going to shift a little bit. I've got some clips, and I am going to clip it down just to hold it in place. Well, that one's too. This is kind of thick. Oh, a little bit. Let's see. I don't think these are going to be wide enough. Nope. I'll leave that one there. Will this one go? A little bit. And then I'm going to take something heavy. Like this. where I keep my clips. That's what that is. This used to be an old candle. I got it as a gift. See, it still has the burn from the candle. So I'm just going to set that aside, maybe over here too. I don't care if my flowers get smushed because that'll make it even grungier. I'm going to set that one aside for just a moment. Let's check on this one. Okay, so that's grabbed on. That one's ready for the next step. I'm going to glue this one down. Look at how gorgeous that is. Oh, you can't see it right here, but if you could only see how sparkly this glue is, the 24 karat gold, it just blows my mind. It has almost like a glitter in it. I don't know, but it is so gorgeous. I'm grabbing journal number 2 and I am going to attach this one now. I'm going to do the same thing. Attach it with this. I'm not using hot glue gun because depending on the surface that you're working with the hot glue, it'll come apart. So on some surfaces, hot glue is temporary, and I want this to be forever attached to the cover. Cover this immediately because it spews out. Okay. Okay, so now make sure there's nothing there. Oh, I can't see. Does it look straight? Oh my gosh, that is so stinking gorgeous. Let me see. Oh, that reached. A little bit. Let's see, what else do I have that is heavy? Oh, I know. My quartz candle. Put that right there. And then something over here. My hand. I'm going to let this sit for a moment and I'll be right back. I'd like to show you what I did while the journals were drying. I made another topper. The one I said I would make at another time. I only set these aside for a few minutes to almost dry, but I took the board that I had already made. I added, see, it's not even completely dry. I added one of the metal corner embellishments, added another one of the tissue toppers, and I don't know if it'll pick up very well, but you could see that some of the design from the tissue came through, and I am okay with that. I added a little metal sentiment embellishment and some more florals, and that's it. This is ready for another journal. In fact, this one without the bird would have looked perfect on this journal as well. So you can go as big or as little with the embellishments that you like. You can even add a photograph here. And this is also perfect for gift giving. You can use this as home decor. You can add a little hook in the back and put it on your wall. It can make a great card front, or you can put it on a small easel and put it on display in your home as home decor. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh, I hope you make some of these. These are now just about dry, and I just love how they turned out. Let me know what you think. These are now ready to be listed in my Etsy shop again. Look at how gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I love these so much. Little springtime bird themed journals. And I'm going to open it and show you. I'm just going to flip through the pages. Ooh, that looks pretty. I love this checkerboard. And it's tone on tone white, but because of the middle foam insert that I use, a little bit of the pink is showing through, but that looks so pretty. I made these grungy papers using a good quality copy paper and different techniques for staining the paper. If you want to see this video, I'll have that linked for you up above. I also used different IOD stamps, sentiment stamps, script stamps, floral stamps, different IOD stamps. I'll have a list of those also in the description. And then some pages are also splattered with gold. Oh, just so pretty. Let's flip through this one. I'll have a separate video for you linked up above as well if you would like to see a full flip of these journals or similar. But these grungy papers were so fun to make. So many different colors. And this is what I consider a plain journal. There aren't any other embellishments aside from the staining on the papers. Oh my gosh, that center page looks so beautiful. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. If you need direct links to other videos, just let me know and I'll send that directly to you in the comments. But so pretty, so beautiful. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think. I appreciate you being here and watching my process video and that you spent some time with me crafting. You guys are awesome and I will see you next time.